Joining us now, former Army sniper and member of House Armed Services, Congressman Cory Mills. Congressman Mills served with the 82nd Airborne Division and Joint Special Ops Command. His team was hit by IEDs twice overseas. Congressman, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your service to America. When you heard that body cam footage, what was your reaction?
Well, look, when I heard the body cam footage, I was shocked to just listen to the fact that they had been telling the Secret Service for, as you talked about, 5 days that they should have been posting someone on there. This also goes ahead and reiterates and reinforces what local law enforcement has stated with regards to the Secret Service not showing up for the morning meeting the day of the rally, where you would have ironed out the details finally on what rooftops are we going to actually secure, what is our communication emergency channel, and if we don't have compatible comms, are we going to utilize a joint operations center where you have at least one member from each individual department, that being our local ESU teams, that being the Secret Service, and that being others who are coordinated with, so that you can call into that to then be able to disseminate the information that there is a shooter on the roof, get President Trump off the stage. So this is a massive and colossal mistake. I'll correct one thing. Where I was an actual counter sniper at was when I was working with the State Department, working with their advanced teams. And I actually had talked to one of my team sergeants recently who confirmed that we've done about 1,000 of these different types of site lead advances and counterterrorism or counter-sniper operations. And so this as a whole needs to be investigated further, but I fear that this task force that was set up by Speaker Johnson is moving at such a slow pace that even just the other day when we put out our 18-minute documentary, it was told to me that the task force hadn't even set up a conference call yet. And meanwhile, myself and Eli Crane, who were unfortunately left off this task force, was actually out there and had already sat where Thomas Crooks was to determine the silhouette size, as well as for what kind of shot the counter-sniper teams would have had, and what we could have utilized the water tower for that would have been providing protection over the rally itself and the building where Thomas Crooks got on.
Congressman, let's watch more of the body cam footage.
Is he hit? Is there a ladder? Is there a ladder there, Paul?
Get them out of here! Get them out!
Okay, it's harrowing. You know, Senator Chuck Grassley's office released records showing the assassin's, quote, intense preparation. He visited a gun range 43 times in the year prior to the shooting, including on holidays and the day before the shooting. 80% of his visits were spent on target rifle practice. How worried are you about President Trump's safety? Because there are threats against him. For example, a Pakistani national with ties to Iran was just arrested, charged with plotting to assassinate U.S. politicians, including President Trump. Iran reportedly has threatened the life of the former president and members of his cabinet.
Well, again, I'm extremely concerned, and that's why I've been kind of sounding the alarm on what the kind of mistake we have right here, not to mention the fact that senior members of President Trump's Secret Service team had been requesting additional assets, and we know that ever since the successful counterterrorism strike that eliminated Qasem Soleimani, who is a Iranian spy master in charge of the Quds Force, as well as for Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes, who's in charge of, was in charge of the largest Iraq Shia militia group, that this was going to be a threat against the president's life. You also have, Liz, which we're not talking about, the fact that if President Trump comes back into office, he's going to secure our borders, which means that that's going to cut the revenue of these cartels who are sending people over in the millions, and not to mention the hundreds who have crossed on the known terrorist watch list. So President Trump is definitely at risk, and when we're not having the thing of meritocracy over DEI, which I think is part of the problem here, you increase the likelihood of some type of incident occurring or an event such as what took place on July 13th.
Congressman Mills, thank you for your analysis tonight. Thanks for your service to America. It's great to see you again. Okay, moving on to this.